Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a list of 15 items you need in your freelance kit. These are perfect items to start off with if you're just starting to build your kit. And yeah, I basically just put together a list of my favorite 15 products that kind of cover the basics in your kit. I also kept them budget friendly, so if you're just starting out and you're starting to build your kit and maybe don't want to spend a whole lot of money, these items would be perfect to start off with. I get questions all the time about building your freelance kits. How do I build it? How do I keep it budget friendly? Where did you start? What products did you use? What products do you recommend? So if you ever ask me any of those questions, this video is for you. But yeah, if you want to know these 15 products you need in your freelance kit to start a kit, to build on top of the kit you already have, you just want 15 new products to try out, whatever it may be, then just keep watching. All right, so let's get started. I have the list on my computer right here, so if I keep looking over here, that's why. I did this in the order that you would apply the products, just so it makes more sense. So the first product would be in the skincare category, and I recommend 100%, I mentioned it a million times on my channel, Embryolisse Let Cream Concentrate. I think that's how you call it, but it's the Embryolisse lotion. It's a great moisturizer. You definitely need to carry a good moisturizer in your kit if you want your client's skin to be soft before you go in with your foundations, powders, concealers. You need to have a good base. So I recommend telling your clients to come with a clean face, freshly clean, or if it's not freshly clean, make sure you have some sort of makeup wipe or toner pads to get rid of any oils and dirt on the client's skin. Then go in with the Embryolisse cream. It's a great cream because it just works with all skin types. Like, it works with really dry skin, it works with oily skin. I do recommend, if your client does have oily skin, just to use a little bit of this product, because a little bit does go a long way, but it just sits really nicely underneath makeup and I've never had an issue with it. So I love that lotion. It's very well loved by so many makeup artists, so you can't go wrong with that. The Embryolisse isn't super pricey, I don't believe, but if you get any pro discounts, you obviously can get it for cheaper. They even have it on Amazon, I think. But if you're looking for a little bit of a cheaper version, I really like the CeraVe moisturizer, which you can get at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart. It kind of has a similar consistency, but it's obviously a drugstore, so it is a little bit cheaper. It's hypoallergenic, so it's great for all clients, all skin types. So yeah, if you're looking for a little bit of a cheaper alternative, which again, with skincare, face products, I don't really recommend skimping on those products. There are certain products you can definitely do drugstore, but when it comes to the skin, I feel like that's the first thing people notice, so you want to use quality products. So moving on to foundation. My recommendation is to start with a foundation palette. The foundation palette allows you to customize colors. It allows you to cater to a very wide range of skin tones. You're not just limited to a range of 5 different shades. If you were buying bottles of foundation, the palettes allow you to, like I said, customize colors, customize undertones, and I just feel like the foundation palettes are going to give you more bang for your buck. Of course, you could go ahead and buy, 10 different foundation bottles of a certain brand. But I find the easiest way when you're starting out is to start off with a foundation palette, because what's great about foundation palettes is, like I said, I mentioned the whole color range thing, but you could also highlight and contour with foundation palettes. So they serve as foundation, but also highlight and contour. So they have multiple uses. So I love foundation palettes. I've always had foundation palettes in my kit. Even though I have a ton of foundation bottles now, I always make sure I have some sort of palette, and one of my favorites is the Makeup Forever foundation palette. It's the Ultra HD foundation palette. It's very tiny, it's compact, but it's basically all you would need. So I 100% recommend investing in that. I do not remember the price. I will list the price of everything on the screen when I put the picture up, but it's a great palette, and like I said, it caters to everybody. It's a beautiful formula. It's not cakey. It's not drying. Sometimes some foundation palettes, since they are creams, can be a little bit drying, but I find this one isn't drying at all. It works so beautifully. It photographs beautifully. And yeah, it's just a great foundation palette. And I know so many makeup artists that I know personally use that palette, so definitely worth a shot trying. All right, moving on to concealer. I know Tarte Shape Tape is like one of the first things that comes to mind when you think of concealer because it's so popular. But if you're looking to save a little bit of money and you need to buy, you know, with concealer you do need a wide shade range. So it can get pricey, especially if you're buying Tarte Shape Tape. So I recommend the Loreal Full Wear Concealer. It is drugstore, but I'm telling you guys, it is so similar to Tarte Shape Tape, but so much cheaper. It has a great shade range. It's super long lasting. It's one of my personal favorites, and I just feel like you can't go wrong with it, and it's literally a Tarte Shape Tape dupe. My recommendation in terms of colors that you should use in your kit, I recommend starting with the lightest shade and then kind of going like every two. Now, if your clientele is mostly, let's say, medium to dark clients, you may have a very wide shade range of clients, but typically I feel like you kind of have like a shade range that you typically work on, not by choice, it just happens that way. So if your clientele is medium to dark skin, I would go start from a medium shade and pick up maybe like every two shades. You don't have to pick up every shade. As long as you have like, I don't even know how many shades I have in my kit now, but I feel like as long as you have like 6 concealer shades, you can usually make those work. Don't forget, you can mix the concealers together to create custom shades, so it's not like you need every shade in the range, but you definitely should, you know, start from, let's say, the lightest and then go like every 2, even maybe every 3, just so you can kind of, so you can have a good range there, and again, you could always mix. Like, I'm always mixing colors. Okay, moving on to powder. This powder that I'm going to mention is a classic, and it works for pretty much everybody. And I know so many people, again, that love this powder, and it is the RCMA No Color Powder. This is not only an inexpensive product, but it's also really good quality, and it is translucent, so it kind of works for every skin tone. Now, personally, I've never used it on a really deep skin tone, and I would be careful with that just because even though it is translucent, sometimes you can get flashback, or sometimes it can look a little ashy if you use a translucent powder on a really deep skin tone. So just test that out. But it's a great powder for setting underneath the eyes. It's a great powder for baking. It's a great powder for setting all over the face. It's just a very versatile translucent powder that you cannot go wrong with. It is extremely finely milled, so it never looks cakey. It's just makes your skin look super airbrushed, and you get a lot of product for the price. I'm not crazy about the packaging, but the product itself is really good, and I promise you, you cannot go wrong with that powder. All right, we're just cruising along here. So we're on product 5, which is bronzer. And for me, I've tried a million bronzers. I've tried high end, I've tried low end, I've tried everything. But I really love, there's 2 bronzers that I love, but I am gonna recommend one in particular for your kit, and it's the Morphe bronzing palettes. Those are amazing. I have one in my kit. They give you like a pretty good range of bronzers, and you're not just limited to using one bronzer on all of your clients. It's important to have a range, because although some people may think bronzer is bronzer, you don't need a million bronzers, but yeah, you do, because bronzer is going to look different on every skin tone, on every undertone. A bronzer that may look really beautiful and cool toned, a bronzer that may just blend into my skin seamlessly and look like the perfect shade, may look super orange and dark on someone much fairer than me. So you need to have a little bit of a range when it comes to your bronzers, and I love the Morphe bronzers. I really have no complaints with them. They're really great. Another great alternative, I'm just going to throw in another product in there, is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzers. Those are amazing, and they smell so good. So yeah, those are the bronzers I would recommend. But in terms of your kit, I would make sure you get some sort of palettes, or if you're not gonna get a palette, make sure you have like a light bronzer, a medium, and a dark. That's really important. Okay, blush. Again, we're sticking with the Morphe theme, and I gotta recommend the Morphe blush palettes. I love the Morphe blush palettes. I don't know why, they're a staple in my kit. Right now, actually, I'm not using them because I'm trying to use up another palette that I had because I have so much stuff. But the Morphe blush palette is where it's at. It's like they have a warm and they have a cool, and the shade range is beautiful. So I definitely recommend the Morphe blush palettes. And they're inexpensive, so you can't go wrong with that. And I know on Morphe's website you can always use coupon codes to get like 10% off. So take advantage of coupon codes, you guys. Okay, highlighter. Now you could definitely go ahead and get a highlighting palette, but I want to mention a highlighter that is beautiful and it's so inexpensive and you get a lot of products, and it's the Wet n Wild loose highlighters. They have a couple different shades, so if I were you, I would just pick up all of them and then I would just transfer them to maybe a smaller packaging. They sell all kinds of like little jars that you can put makeup in. Even look them up on Amazon, because the package itself of the loose highlighter is pretty big. I'll grab it right now. Yeah, so this is the Wet n Wild highlighter. So as you can see, it's a pretty big package. So but this is so good. It's so blinding and looks so beautiful. You can even use this as eyeshadow. I've used it as eyeshadow before on the lid and it just looks so pretty. But yeah, this is a great product because it's so inexpensive, but it's super pigmented, and you're gonna see this highlighter in the photos you take of your clients, I promise. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, and you can't go wrong with a product that's literally a couple bucks. If it works, it works. I don't care if it's from e.l.f. Cosmetics. If it works, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Next we have primer for the eyes. This is a product I definitely recommend having in your kits because the base you have on your eyes is going to determine how your eyeshadow comes out. And if you don't have anything on your eyelids, sometimes it's just not going to look good. You need a little base there to make your eyeshadows pop. Now you can always use concealer. I used to do that. I'm not a fan of that anymore. So I carry the Urban Decay Eden Primer Potion. For me, it works. It's beautiful. It makes the eyeshadow last really long and I have no complaints about it. So yeah, definitely recommend the Eden Primer Potion. And that was number 8 for the products you need in your kit. Number 9. Obviously you need eyeshadows, but it can be very overwhelming to pick out what eyeshadows you need in your kit because there's so many options out there. There's a million brands that carry a million different palettes, but my go-to, yes, I have my palette that I have like my high-end single shadows in, like my MAC and my Cosette shadows, but one of my favorite palettes is by ColourPop, and it has to be the Going Coconuts palette. I've used it, actually it's what I have on my eyes today. I love it. I have one for myself, one for my kit. It's like the most beautiful neutral palette. You can create beautiful bridal looks with it. You can create quick bridesmaids looks with it. Mother of the bride. It's a great overall palette. It's super tiny too and compact. I also want to mention the Bare Necessities palette by ColourPop. That's an amazing palette to have in your kit as well because it has a wider range of shades and it's perfect for if you do primarily wedding makeup. It's like the perfect tones for wedding makeup. It's nothing crazy. It's like neutrals, and then they do have some mauves in there as well. But I just love ColourPop shadows, and you can't beat the price point. The pigment is there, the price is good, it's just, they're great. So definitely recommend the Going Coconuts palette by ColourPop as item number 9. Okay, liner. Definitely need liners in your kit, but one that honestly, it's just so good and you can't beat it, is the Maybelline Gel Liner. To me, I feel like it's very comparable to the Inglot number 77, which is a classic. And if you want to get this instead of the Maybelline, or if you want to get both, you can. But the Maybelline is really good. It's super creamy. It's long lasting. It's pigmented. and you could even use that in the waterline. So you can use it to create a wing, or you can use it in the waterline. It's gonna last all day. So definitely need a good gel liner. Okay, brows. Everybody wants the Anastasia brow palette. I see people posting all the time like, has anyone found the Anastasia brow palette? Because it's been out of stock. The Pro palette has been out of stock forever. So I found a dupe for you guys. I've seen other makeup artists post about it as well. The Beauty Creations brow palette. It looks just like the Anastasia one. It's just different packaging, but the colors look very similar. And I think it's only 10 bucks. So if you can't get your hands on the Anastasia Pro brow palette, definitely get your hands on the Beauty Creations one. And what's great about it is all the shades that you would need. Like, it literally has every shade of brow powder that you would need. So you can't go wrong. Alright, we're getting there. We're almost towards the end. So number 12 would be lip liners. You need some lip liners. You need some variety in your kits for your clients. And my favorites have to be Morphe. I know everyone loves MAC lip liners, but honestly, Morphe lip liners are better in my opinion. They're so creamy, pigmented, and they have a large shade range. So some of my favorites I want to recommend to you guys that I use all the time are Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea and Bite Me are my personal favorites. I use them all the time on myself, but I also have them in my kit. Sweet Tea, Bite Me, Coffee and Kissy, Frenchie, Sweetheart. What's the other one? Toasty is a good one. Those are just some that I can think off the top of my head. But yeah, Morphe lip liners all the way. Super inexpensive. And yeah. As for lipsticks, I want to recommend two lipsticks that I use all the time on brides as well as bridesmaids. I've used them on Mother of the Brides. They're just two shades that just work, and they're just beautiful on so many different people. And it is the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks in Truffle and Stone. Stone is a beautiful mauve shade. It's perfect for those clients that aren't really into the nude lips but don't really want like a bold lip. It's just so pretty. And Truffle is like a darker nude. A lot of people like nude lips, but some people don't really like the bright nude. So Truffle gives them that nude effect because it is kind of just like a darker nude, but it's not too crazy. And the fact that they're liquid lipsticks, they just last really long. And yeah, they're like classics in my kit. I use them all the time. I feel like they're the only two colors that I use on bridesmaids, because every bridesmaid's always like, oh, I guess a mauve, or I guess some sort of nude. So Stone and Truffle are like the way to go. And I get mine, you can get them directly from the Dose of Colors website, but I always get mine on Namies because Namies carries Dose of Colors, and I get a pro discount on there of 40%. So they're really, really affordable on Namies with the discount. Definitely recommend Buxom glosses. And I just recently, well actually not recently, a couple months ago got a Buxom lip gloss set. I am going to do everything I can to find the best lip gloss set that I can find, either through Ulta, Sephora, or the actual Buxom website. But if you can get your hands on their sets where they have a variety of their Buxom lip glosses, definitely get them. One, it's great because they're usually in like a miniature size, so they don't take up a lot of room in your kit. But two, I just love those lip glosses. I'm actually wearing Buxom lip glosses now. They do have a plumping effect, so I do always warn my clients like, hey, if your lips are tingling, it's normal, it's just a lip gloss. But they're super glossy, they are long lasting. I love the shades. White Russian is one of my favorites. They're so good. So if you get your hands on a lip gloss set by Buxom for your kits, you can't go wrong, and you're gonna love them. Okay, number 15. We're finally at the end, and obviously you need a brush set. I've gotten so many questions. What brush sets do you recommend? What brushes in general do you recommend? And I recommend just getting like a good brush set and then building off of there. As long as you have the basics, you can build. you can build off of there. And I recommend the EIGshow Beauty brushes. I do have a discount code with them. It's always in my description box, but that's not why I'm mentioning them. I just genuinely like their brushes. I use them every day on myself, and I do have some in my kit as well. Like for example, here is an EIGshow Beauty brush. This blending brush is one of my favorites, again, from EIGshow Beauty. They're just quality brushes, and they are affordable, but they're just really good quality. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Morphe brushes as well, but I find the EIGshow Beauty ones are just like slightly, they're just like slightly more luxurious. Like, I don't know, they're really nice. And they have different kinds. They have vegan brush sets, they have pro brush sets. I just really like them. So, yeah, I definitely recommend investing in one brush set and then kind of building off of there, because as a makeup artist, especially if you're doing weddings, you're going to need multiple types of a certain brush. So you're going to need multiple powder brushes, you're going to need multiple blush brushes, because you don't want to just have one of each. It's going to be, you're going to constantly be cleaning brushes. It's best to have like backups. So start with the brush set and then build from there. But yeah, we already talked about 15 products. These are 15 core products to have in your kit if you're just starting out. Like I said, I tried to keep them budget friendly. There are certain things that you should invest in, such as the products you use on the skin. I recommend doing your research on different skincare products you can carry in your kit. Aside from the Embryolisse, it is good to have a serum and a moisturizer. It is good to have an eye cream, but the Embryolisse kind of covers it all. I feel like if you don't have an eye cream, you can just put a little bit underneath the eyes and it works. So these products are great to start off with. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. These are products that I've used. The only one I haven't used is the Beauty Creations palette, because I use the Anastasia Pro palette, but like I said, I know it's been like sold out for a while. Maybe it's not anymore. I'll look, but I've heard really good things about the Beauty Creations palette. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any other freelance requests, freelance content, please leave your recommendations in the comment section. And if you have any other recommendations from your kit that may help someone else, leave it in the comment section as well. I would love to see your favorite products, products that you started out with. When I started doing makeup, I definitely went the budget-friendly option because I was in college and I didn't have much of a budget. So I used a lot of BH Cosmetics, Morphe, and I just did what I could, and then I got a pro discount with MAC, so I started using MAC. If I were you, I would definitely try to get all the pro discounts you can, because it's really going to help you save money when it comes to restocking items in your kits. Instead of spending $200 on new foundations, you may only need to spend, I don't know, $150 because of your discounts. So I definitely recommend looking into some discounts. Camera Ready Cosmetics, Namie's, Friends Beauty, those are just to name a few. Those are websites that I go on all the time to restock my kit. So definitely check them out. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.